Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we are taking a fascinating and, frankly, a highly unusual detour.
We really are.
We're not looking at market reports or, scientific studies. Our source material today is a single, stunningly beautiful narrative. It's an exploration of the self, but it's all told through the metaphor of a solitary night dance in an empty, almost dust-filled ballroom.
It's so much more than just poetry, though. It's a psychological blueprint, but one that's wrapped in, silken sound.
A psychological blueprint. I like that.
This piece gives us a kind of emotional shorthand. It lets us bypass all the defenses of the conscious mind and just jump straight into the logic of a dream.
And that dream logic is often the deepest form of truth.
Exactly.
So that's the mission for this deep dive. Okay, let's unpack this. We're going to use the psychological framework that's sort of embedded in this narrative, particularly Freudian concepts, to decode this dance. We want to understand what the unconscious is truly trying to say when it stops using clear statements and, well, starts speaking in movement and in rhythm.
The central idea here is that when we can't really articulate our deepest needs, our desires, they don't just vanish.
No.
They assume a physical form. They wait for us in the mirror or, in this case, on a dance floor.
Okay, so let's start with the setting itself. The source describes stepping into this huge, polished ballroom. And the air is described as still, but it's not just silence. It's the hush of anticipation, as if the room itself is holding its breath for you.
And the body starts to move.
Right, not because of a choice, but because the room asked you to.
And what's so fascinating here is that it's an immediate signal. We're leaving the ego, the daylight self, behind.
Completely.
The body starts doing these steps you've never learned, moving with a confidence that feels foreign. This is the moment the subconscious takes the floor.
It asserts a memory and a vocabulary the conscious mind doesn't even know it has.
Or is long suppressed.
Yeah, and I love how the text uses the physical details, the dust motes in the moonlight, the worn floor, to define this internal space. It feels ancient.
It is ancient. The floor is worn smooth by footsteps that never actually happened. Think about that. All the potential actions never taken.
That's the crucial setup then. The room is the self, ready for emotion that was always put off.
And then comes the first critical moment, the contact. Or maybe the contact with absence.
Right. So you're dancing alone, and your hand lifts and reaches out, finding only air. But the air isn't empty.
No, it's not.
It says the air resists, like it has weight, like it remembers the shape of another hand, that phantom grip.
This is such a powerful distinction. I mean, usually we think of loneliness as a void, as missing something.
Yeah, an emptiness.
But here, the source is clear. Absence has taken form. It has rhythm, it has texture, it dances back.
So the unmet need isn't passive. It's an active kinetic force inside you, a shadow with substance.
A shadow with substance. It's demanding to be addressed, demanding interaction.
So if that's the case, the dance becomes, well, it's much more intimate than a solo performance. The text says you close your eyes, and the presence isn't across the floor anymore.
Where is it?
It's inside your ribs, a voice whispering, "Keep dancing, I'm watching."
And there it is, the confirmation that the partner is internal. This figure is the observer, the audience you've been performing for your whole life.
But it's not that simple because the partner's identity isn't stable.
No, not at all.
And this is where it gets really interesting for me. The silhouette of this phantom partner is constantly shifting.
It's described as a heat shimmer.
Exactly, a heat shimmer. And the face keeps changing. One moment it's a parental figure, tired and young. The next, a stranger with eyes the same color as your own. Then just a shadow.
I mean, that is a perfect illustration of psychological projection in a dream. The figure is wearing these faces like masks.
So they're archetypes.
Absolutely. We can link them to primal figures woven into our consciousness. The parent mask is that early need for safety, for recognition. The stranger with your eyes. That's the shadow self, the potential you ignore.
So these faces aren't random. They're placeholders for these deep, essential needs we all carry.
Precisely. They are the memories the body holds of who we needed, who we ignored, and who we could have become. And this all leads to this staggering realization in the text.
That this isn't the first time.
Not at all. The dancer has been performing this exact choreography their entire life.
In the kitchen at 3 a.m., in job interviews, on first dates. A lifelong act for an unseen audience.
And the source is?
Yeah.
It's pretty blunt about who this invisible partner is.
It is.
The partner is what you've hiding from yourself. It's a place you've stored every swallowed apology, every "I love you" that felt too vulnerable.
Every time you were told, don't be so sensitive.
Yes, this partner is the exiled self, and it's just waiting for recognition to be integrated.
That's a huge takeaway. The deepest parts of us don't just go away, they take on the role of the person we're looking for externally.
Hmm.
But if that's the case, how does the conscious mind even let this happen? How does this need get expressed? I guess that's where the Freudian mechanics come in.
We have to talk about the censor. For anyone who needs a quick refresher, Freud saw the psyche as divided. You had the id, which is all raw, primal needs,
Right.
the ego, the realistic self that has to deal with the world, and the superego,
The internal moral compass, the guard at the gate.
the guard at the gate. And the text argues that dancing is the costume that desire wears to slip past that guard.
Okay, so the superego is there with its clipboard asking, is this appropriate? Is this safe?
Exactly. And the raw id feeling, the I am desperately lonely and feel incomplete, well, that gets flagged immediately. It's too vulnerable, too likely to get you hurt.
So desire has to adapt. It has to disguise itself.
It engages in a kind of self-deception. That raw, unnamed heat is just. It's too much. It's too messy for the rules we've internalized.
So instead of screaming, I am yearning, it translates itself into something more acceptable.
Something elegant.
I'm not lonely, I'm free, I'm not yearning, I'm flowing. It gets sublimated.
It becomes productivity, it becomes art, it becomes that relentless, maybe even defensive mantra of, I don't need anyone.
But the unconscious doesn't forget the original feeling.
Never. It just ferments it into a metaphor that is beautiful and, crucially, safe from judgment. The waltz becomes the perfect container for that hunger.
And the central riddle the unconscious keeps asking the dancer is tied right into this.
Yeah.
Why does your hand keep reaching for a shape that was never there?
And that shape that was never there, is the perfect, unconditional response to our earliest, most vulnerable needs. It's the shape of absolute acceptance.
And because that acceptance didn't fully arrive in those key moments, the psyche just keeps rehearsing, trying to find it.
Which is why the source gets so specific about the origin of this feeling, this hollow behind your sternum.
It links it to these concrete, really relatable moments of emotional separation.
Things that feel small, but are so damaging to a developing self. The father leaving a hug for a phone call. The mother kissing your forehead but not looking in your eyes.
Or that crushing line from a loved one, you're like a sister to me.
Oof, yeah. These aren't intentional cruelties most of the time, but they are moments where a child learns that their raw, present emotion is not the priority.
And that's the moment the split begins. You learn that your full self is too much, so you create a performing self that's more acceptable.
And you can see that playing out in the dance itself. There's this dual action. You give everything, you pour yourself out, and then you pull away the second the phantom partner leans in.
It's that classic push-pull. The performance is meant to attract, but the fear of exposure is just too strong.
The fear isn't of being alone anymore. It's the fear that if that raw, trembling, needy part of you is finally seen,
You'll hear that old verdict again.
that's
It's too much. I can't hold that.
which creates this constant internal drama. The text just nails it. One part dances, the other watches. One part wants, the other says, don't be silly, no one wants that.
That's the theater of the unconscious right there. The id wants, the superego prohibits, and the ego is just trying to manage the performance with polite smiles.
But that exhausting performance can't go on forever. And that brings us to the pivotal shift in the narrative, the homecoming.
The resolution of the dream.
Yes, the hand finally meets the hand, but the contact isn't out there in the air. It happens inside your own palm.
Wow.
The exiled part of the self is finally claimed.
The meaning is so clear. The whole search for an external partner to fix that hollow, it was always just a rehearsal for this, for internal recognition.
You have always been dancing with yourself, you just never let yourself lead. That's the central truth that emerges
And the dance itself transforms. It stops being a plea.
and becomes a conversation between the speaking I, the ego, and the dreaming I, the integrated unconscious.
Desire doesn't go away, but its function changes. It's affirmed not as a weakness, but as the engine of becoming.
Right. And the result of this integration isn't that the feeling disappears, that ache in the ribs remains.
But it's no longer a wound, it's a compass. What does that mean practically for someone listening?
Well, a wound is something you avoid, something you bandage. A compass is an instrument that gives you direction, the longing, the desire. It's now integrated knowledge. It guides your choices instead of sabotaging them.
The phantom figure is gone. but the knowledge remains.
It leaves what the text calls a fold in the air, just the knowledge of where it once stood.
So the dream doesn't just vanish. It folds itself into you. It stays in these small, subtle ways you move through the world now.
The pause before you answer, I'm fine. The way you hold the coffee cup, the movement is different, not because someone else is finally there.
But because you stopped pretending you were ever really alone.
Exactly. The partner is no longer a desperate question. It's a quiet knowing.
That you are both the dancer and the dance, the seeker and the sought.
That integration is what removes the need for the performance.
That's a powerful place to end things. Recognizing that desire isn't shameful, it's fundamental. The dance stops being about earning love and starts being about embodying the self.
And that leads to a final provocative thought to maybe leave with you. We established the music was always imaginary, right? The rhythm was humming beneath your ribs. The final step is recognizing that the music hasn't left. It's just playing quietly now. It's inside your pulse, your breath, the space between your thoughts.
So the final lesson isn't to solve the dance.
No, it's just to keep showing up for those small, faithful returns to yourself. That inner rhythm is your lifelong guide, and it's just been waiting for you to choose the steps.